Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just checking, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, thank you. So it's 1 o'clock here in Finland. So it's time to start our webinar about Azure Fundamentals exam prep. I will talk you and tell you the best tips and tricks and tools how to prepare yourself for the upcoming exam during this 1 hour. About your questions, you can type the questions in the chat during this presentation, or you can wait for the end of this session. There will be an Q&A session at the end of this webinar. There is also Anu Holma from Sovelto helping me with your questions and moderating the chat. So please feel free to type there your questions and thoughts. So Anu will bring them up if needed and necessary. But until the questions and sorry, QA session, at least then we will go through all the questions you have typed there. So, okay, let's get it on. My name is Petri Kettunen and I'm working here at Sovelto as a customer manager, but I'm also doing this learning coach things, you may say. I'm really interested about the cloud technologies, and my point here is that I will try to study as much as possible those technologies, but I will do it by myself. So I try to utilize all the information and different courses and learning paths that you can find from internet. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for something, but I think that's the best way for me to find out what kind of materials there are available about these technologies. I studied last year 6 different certifications, and I did it, like I told, all them by self-study. And I also utilized these, especially in this Azure environment, and Azure and Microsoft environment, I utilized these practice exams from MeasureUp. And you will get a free voucher for AZ 900 preparation practice exam during this week. So hopefully tomorrow I will send you the key to activate it. And I will be talking about more about this MeasureUp practice exam later. But here you can see also my contact details. So if you have later on any questions or you need any help with these, please contact me by email, or of course we can connect via LinkedIn. But that's about me. Let's go to today's agenda. First of all, we are going to look through the skills measured document, because that is the most important thing you have to use and utilize when you are preparing yourself. There is all the info needed. What do you have to know when you are going to the exam? Then I will give you some tips how to prepare and how to tackle the test with confidence. And there's a small summary about what you have to do and all the next steps you have to do after this webinar. And like I said, in the end of this session, we have this Q&A session where you can ask and I will answer. Okay, let's get started. The skills measured. The skills measured area is has been created from 4 top domains, and those domains have been updated in the end of May. But as you can see, it's almost the same. And the weight of all of those domains have been about the same. But one thing that have the biggest change that there have been is how do you say those things. So before 28th of May, you did have to understand things. Nowadays, you have to describe things. So that's the biggest change what there have been. So I think most of you have been studied or participated in a trainer-led, instructor-led training. So the whole agenda were this old one. But every time you are going to do any exam, you should always first go to this exam page. And here I have this direct link there to this AZ 900, because here you can always see what is the situation at the moment. So Microsoft will always update here what are the skills measured and has there been any changes with this one and so on. And Microsoft have been informed that the exam will be updated again during September. That's the last info from there, but I don't know, is it going to be on September or is it going to be on August or whenever. When you are preparing for the exam, use this info only. This is the official up-to-date information. Then there are, if you scroll a little bit down here, here are the skills measured. These 4 top domains that you have to know, and what are the weights of these domains. The weight means that this amount, this percentage which is shown here, is the amount of questions in your exam. So in your exam, there could be 15 to 20% questions about cloud concepts. But this is only the top level. Here is the download exam skills outline link, and I have already opened it here in my browser. Here you can find more detailed info about these domains. So if we scroll down, you can see that now describe cloud concepts. This was the first domain there. Now we can see more detailed information. What does it mean? What are the specs that I have to know about this? So you can go through all this study area looking at this document. And if we scroll down, we can see the changes compared to this live before 28th of May and today. Let's see, here it comes. Here are the changes that have been made. So as you can see, if I scroll a little bit further, the biggest change here is that the understand word has been changed to describe. I don't know the facts, but I have the feeling that this means that this could be a little bit easier. But I'm not for sure that. I don't know anyone who has gone with this new exam, so I haven't been able to ask how does it feel. Because if you are going to do this certification and you succeed, these fundamental level exams and certifications are for the rest of your life. If you are going to do this, so let's say associate level or expert level certifications, they have an expiration date always. They are valid for 2 years. But this is something for rest of your life. So I do not have the possibility to take this exam again. But here are all the changes you need to know. So this is really important document for you. I will come back to this one time after time when we go through my presentation. How to prepare? If you have been participating in this instructor-led training, you should have got this official Microsoft courseware. We are talking about mock material, but maybe some of you didn't got it. You got only the link to Microsoft Learn portal, where you can find this Azure Fundamentals learning path. Either way, it's both are really good and efficient way to get the knowledge. But if you have this mock material, it's even more detailed and it's mapped directly to this certification. So it's easier there for you to study when you are preparing for yourself for the certification. But this mock material is something that you have to pay for, or at least your organization have paid for. So it's not available freely. But no worries. Like I said, you can find a lot of good information and good stuff from internet also. I studied this AZ 900 directly and just with this Microsoft learning path. Microsoft Learn is Microsoft's own portal for Microsoft ecosystem for studying these things. So it's not just only about Azure. There are all the clouds for Microsoft, meaning Azure, N365, Office 365, and of course Dynamics 365. So you can find all the info there. And there has been huge growth in these video materials and study materials since the beginning of 2018 when this portal was launched. And you can find all the newest things there. So if you need to check how this service is going to work, or what do I have to know about this, you should always first go to the Learn, because this is the place which Microsoft will always update first. So the newest info is here about all the products and services published. But maybe the challenge there is that if you are using the learning path, for example, this Azure Fundamentals, the content of this learning path is not one-to-one to the certification. That is the biggest reason you should use this skills measured document at the same time you are studying these issues from there. Then you will know, okay, now I have covered all these things. Now I know enough about these things. Because some of the issues are not domains, but maybe the services there which are shown in Learn, they are handled with too deep information. And some of them are just high level, not information enough. But when you are comparing to this skills measured document, you will know, okay, now I know enough about this. And of course, there are other portals and ways to get the info. I picked here YouTube because YouTube is full of videos about anything in Azure, and of course AZ 900 also. But there are so many of those videos. So some of them are really good, some of them are so not so good. And we have to remember, because we are talking about cloud service, which is updating all the time. If the video is 1 year old, it could be that it's not valid anymore. But I have picked here one video. It's 43 minutes long walkthrough about the all the domains and things you should know. So it's not complete, but if you like to watch videos, it's a really good recap for you if you have already studied the materials. Here is some other tools that you can utilize. The best tool from here is definitely this Excel spreadsheet. Is for self-assessment. So this means that I will show to you. This is the tool where you can mark up your knowledge about these things. So this way it's easier for you to go through the material and see, do I know enough? And here are two tabs here in this Excel which are important. First of one is this assessment overview, which shows you the general big picture about your knowledge. Of course, at the moment, mine is 0% because I haven't done anything here. The next tab here is the self-assessment. And if we go through this, surprise, here is the same skills measured. Some of these topics have been updated already. Describe instead of understand. So this is not quite up to date yet, but this is better than nothing. Like I said, the changes have been so small. So if we can still use this tool to get the feeling about our confidence level. And this works that way that I will go through materials or just using this Excel, all these subdomains here. Okay, understand terms such as high availability and so on. I think I know these really, really good. I know them well. Same thing here, and while I'm studying or recapping or prepping myself for the exam, and I will do this at the same time, this will update my confidence level as per percentages. And of course, I have to be, if I don't know that well, that thing, I will mark it here so I don't get all the percentage here. But if I'm using this one and I check the overview page here, it will update, of course, the info here. And at the end of this list, if I have been using this the whole list, it should give me this overall confidence level. And this should be something like 70 to 80% at least before you should even try the exam. So this is really good tool to mark up and keep up with your knowledge. Same time when you are studying or prepping for the exam. And I have links to all these tools in this presentation, and I forgot to say to you that you will all get this presentation, link to this presentation and link to this recording afterwards, so you don't have to type these up or anything. These Excel spreadsheets, there are other spreadsheets also, not just for the AZ900. There are all the Azure other certifications also. So if you are going to continue your Azure path and study more, you should definitely use those other Excels also. And then we have these study guides. These are kind of nice way to sum up all the info you have to know about this. I've opened up one here. One study guide or prep guide, and as I have scrolled this already, but it starts here again. Describe cloud concepts. Okay, old word here, but it's the same thing. But instead of just reading these are the direct links to different places, mostly to docs.microsoft.com. But I know that, okay, I know these things already. I don't have to study them at all. But I don't remember what was CapEx versus OpEx. So I can really fast go through, it was this one. Now I remember that. So this is really fast way for you to go through all the materials, all the domains that you have to know when you are going to this exam. Here's a couple of different kind of, and there is also third one is more bigger one. It's same kind of list of those skills measures and links to the other links to this docs.microsoft.com. But there is also this 140 pages PDF document, which have a lot of good technical info. And this is something that you should definitely look to if you are going to go forward with your Azure path. So you are going to take some associate level trainings or expert level trainings. You should definitely go through this PDF. You can find it via this link. Then there is also an excellent FIQ, where a lot of questions and answers concerning about this exam, not just the substance of Azure and all these things to what is going to be there, what kind of questions and so on, but all the things around this whole exam. For example, how many questions there are, or what type of questions I will encounter. This is really good question, and there is a good list of videos about all the different question types here. It is a Microsoft site and it's a Microsoft videos, but some of the question types have already expired and they're not in use. Microsoft haven't been updated this video list. But here you can see all the different type of questions there could be, and more info about the exam. But maybe the most powerful tool to prep up yourself for this exam is this MeasureUp practice test or practice exam. This is normally something that you have to pay for. The normal price for this exam is 110 euros, if I remember correctly. But like I said, Sovelto will give you a free voucher for this practice test for you, and I will send these activation keys. At least I think by tomorrow morning, I will send it to you. And if you haven't been using this MeasureUp before, you should create a new account there with the same email I was sending you this activation key. So you have to use the same email address. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I will show you how it works, because like I said, this is really, really powerful tool. I have already signed in to MeasureUp, and this is my learning locker. As you can see, I have other tests here also, but you should have at least this Microsoft AZ 900 test here somewhere. There is also a demo test list where it's more than 93 samples, like 5 questions per certification exam, if you want to look up what's there. But I have signed in, and I want to start this AZ 900 exam. And I have already started here. The next step is to select, do I want to use the certification mode or do I want to use this practice mode? Certification mode is just like the name says. It's just like the real certification exam. So you do not have any kind of possibility to change any timing or amount of questions or any other options there. And I suggest that you do this certification test at least one time before you go to the actual real exam. So you can get the feeling about how I'm going to produce within an hour. Am I fast or am I slow? Does it take a long time for me to understand these kind of questions and so on? So you can get the more confidence again for the real exam. But when you are studying these things or prepping these things, this practice mode is really, really good tool for that. So now I select this practice mode, and there are a lot of different options we can modify here. We can see that there is 180 different questions altogether under this AZ 900. I could change the amount of the questions I want to go through. Okay, I changed this. I want to go 2 questions only. I could say that, okay, now I have only 15 minutes of time. So give me 15 minutes of questions, as many I can succeed. But now there's no time frame here. I want to randomize those. And when I continue, I get more advanced options. The options you should know here is definitely this do not include complex question types. Normally, if you are using this practice exam with your laptop and normal browser, you can of course have these complex question types. But because this you can use it via browser, you can use it via your mobile phone or with your iPad or anything. So it's not so easy to use with your finger. And especially if you are using your mobile phone, I always opt this out because it's almost impossible to select and place or build and reorder things from these questions. So it's much more convenient to use without these kind of question types. Same thing goes here. When I'm demoing this to you, I don't want to use these simulation questions or case studies. I want to have the simple question types only. And if I know that, okay, I know from the top 4 domains, I know most of them. I know the cloud concept, I know the security issues and the pricing and all those. But the services is something that I need more practice. I can say, give me questions about the core Azure services only. So this way I can focus and concentrate only to those my weak spots that I want to know and learn. But this time I don't select anything here. And then the last drop down menu, I want to have auto display answers to any response. And I will show to you what does this mean. I continue here. Here's a summary about my test. So only 2 questions, and I have to, if I want to pass these, I have to have 80% correct. This 80% is all the time here in this MeasureUp practice exams. So in real life, you in this official exam, you have to have 700 points out of 1000. So it's a little bit different there. There's a lot of instructions you should read. This is same kind of instructions that you will have on this official exam also. There's some definitions about what the controls means here and so on. We could just go forward and we begin the test. Okay, here's the first question. I don't even read it. I just look, okay, choose the correct answer. This means that I have to select one of these. I just take this one. I don't know if it's correct or not, but I click next one. Now it will show me that, okay, I guess it's right, because it shows this green box here that this was the correct answer here. But the best part is, if I'm scrolling down here, I will get the explanation why the security center was the correct answer in this question, and why these others are not the correct answers. So if I read this through, I will learn a lot of things, not just only the correct thing, but about the other things also. When I should use those options, for example. And if I think, okay, this security center was something that, okay, I don't remember this so good. There's a direct reference links here below these explanations. So these are also the docs.microsoft.com. So there's a brief. If I select this one, it shows me what is Azure Security Center. So there's one page, really much information about it. I can go really fast through this. Okay, now I remember it was this one, and so on. But if these are clear for me, I just click next, so I get the next question. This is the last question. Again, I'm not going to even read about this. I just guess something. I take the metrics and finish the test. And it's service health was the correct one, so I guessed wrong. And here is again the explanation why the service health is the correct one and why the others are not. And again, we have all the links to the references down here. Like I said, really powerful tool. One guy from our Sovelto's marketing department wanted to do this AZ900, but he didn't want to participate in any instructional training or even use the learn material. He used only this practice exam. I don't know how many hours, but I think at least 10 hours or 20 hours, just going through these issues here. And after that, went to this official exam, and he succeeded with this one. So this is really good way to learn things if you want to utilize this one. So tomorrow morning, hopefully, you will get an email from learninglocker@measureUp.com, and there will be guide how to step-by-step guide how to activate your practice exam. What about the test itself? When you are doing this exam, whether you go to the test center or do it online, I think most of you have got from Microsoft already this exam voucher. The voucher means that you don't have to pay for the exam itself. So if you do it online, it's totally free. But if you go to the test center and use the voucher there, you don't have to pay for the exam, anything, but you have to pay for the test center, their the admin fee. Here in Finland, it's like 70 to 80 euros per exam, the admin fee. So, but if you are doing it online, it's totally free. But before you start the exam, you have to identify yourself. Even if you are doing it online, there's a proctorer online who is proctoring your exam and will ask you questions, and you have to show your laptop and use your webcam to show your premises. Is there anybody else there in the room? Is there some kind of notes anywhere, or do you have a window there, and so on? So there's a lot of things before the exam. Normally, the exam itself is only 60 minutes, but you should definitely schedule at least 90 minutes of time for this exam, because there are so much pre-issues before you can do the exam itself. The exam itself has 35 to 55 questions. This means if you have 60 minutes time to complete the test, you cannot use that much time in one particular question. So you have to be quite fast. This means you have to know things. The more you know, easier it gets. Most of the questions are multiple choice questions, just I shown you previously in this MeasureUp practice exam. And some of maybe 15% are lighter, these interact question types, meaning this order this list or rebuild this list and drag and drop these things and so on. So they are I don't know if they are any better than the multiple choice questions, but they are different from them. And it's good to remember that some questions are more than 1 point. You cannot see the point amount of individual question. You cannot see it. But at the end of the test, you can see your overall score of the test. So it's really important that you answer all questions. If you don't have the time to think about those questions, you should guess, because there are no penalty for guessing. So even if you guess wrong, you don't get negative points there. So it's better to ask all the questions than leave them out. In some questions, there are possibility to mark questions for review. This means that, okay, this is something that I have to think about more, but I don't want to use my time at the moment with this question. So I can mark it for review, and after I have completed all the other questions, this question will pop up again to me. So this is one way to keep up your pace with the questions. But it's good to remember that some questions cannot be skipped. So there could be this case study questions, that you have one case study and there will be multiple questions from that case study. That's something that you cannot skip. You have to do all of them by one time. That's good too. But normally the user interface will say you that, hey, this is something that you cannot mark for review. And of course, if there are any quickies meaning that this is something that I know for sure, you should do them first. But at least for me, this was quite hard. I have maybe 5 questions that this is 100% correct. So most of the questions were like, I have to think about it. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking about it. It could be this one. So if you have quickies there, of course, go forward as fast as you can. But you have to go through really carefully all the questions, because there could be really easy questions, but they are presented in really hard way. So you should read carefully the whole question, what they are asking about, and try to find the keywords from this question. And if this is something like a multiple choice questions, I can go through the answers and eliminating the obvious. So okay, it cannot be this one. And if you know what I mean, I try to find out, okay, it cannot be this one because of it's not related to this thing they are asking, and so on. And so it's easier even to guess the correct one there. And like I said, we need 700 points from 1000 if we want to succeed with this one. And you are the only one seeing your points. So it doesn't matter whether you get 700 or 1000, you still will get the official digital badge from Acclaim for your certification. If you fail for some reason or other, there is a retake policy. For the first failure, there is a cool down period for 24 hours, meaning that you cannot even schedule your next try for the first 24 hours. If you fail for the second time, the cooling down period is 2 weeks. But hopefully, if you utilize all these tools and the MeasureUp practice test, you don't have to think about this retake policy at all. Okay, next steps. Okay, you should schedule time for your test. And this is something that you should do straight away after this webinar, as soon as possible, because that way you have a deadline for your studies or recapping or prepping yourself. You should have this voucher from directly from Microsoft. You need that voucher when you are scheduling the time from internet. And if you are doing it online, you should check there is this option. You will do this exam anywhere. Here is a link to this online exams. There is more detailed info about these online exams. So if you are doing it online, there is a certain system requirements for your hardware, for your laptop. And I definitely suggest to you that you will use your own laptop if possible, not your organization's laptop. Because most of the organizations, there are so strict security rules and firewall rules that it's almost impossible to get this done. But you can try it. There's this run system check test now. It will try to install all the things needed and check if it's going to work or not. So if you do not succeed with this one, then you are not even able to schedule your test. So you should look this through really carefully. There are also different requirements for your premises where you are doing this. So go through this page really carefully when you are thinking about where are you going to do this. At the moment, the situation is getting better with this COVID-19 issue here. In beginning of June, at least here in Finland, all the test centers are open again. So it's always possible that you will go to this test center, but then remember you have to pay for the admin fee. And most of you guys are from Tieto, so I think at least some of your premises, there could be a possibility that there is some kind of dedicated meeting room for these doing these exams. But that's something that you have to check from your own organization. Is it possible to do in your own organization's premises? And here are some other links. Here is, of course, we have test center here, and here is how the official link where you register for the exam. But you should definitely start here. Go through all the requirements before you go any further, if you are going to do it online. Okay, it's time for summary. What do you need to do? Like I said to you earlier, schedule the exam. This is the best way because then you have a deadline for your studies and you're recapping and prepping yourself. It's much easier this way. You can schedule exam into the future at least 3 months, at least. It depends what kind of voucher you have. You should definitely look through the voucher email. Is there any expiration date or when that meaning that you have to schedule your exam by this date. You have to check it from your email. Next step is pick your tool, how to study, recap, or prep yourself. And you should definitely use the Selfassessment Excel to score your knowledge. So it's, like I said, it's really good to keep track. Where are you going with these topics? It's much easier to see that, okay, there are still some parts missing here. I haven't gone through these. I don't know enough of these topics. This means you can focus on the right things. And then you can get more knowledge by using your favorite learning method. Like I said, there are these study guides, there are this official Microsoft courseware, you can use Microsoft Learn, you can use anything you want. Even the YouTube videos are really good. But you will get the MeasureUp practice exam. Like I said, it's definitely the most powerful tool for prepping yourself to this exam. Do the practice exam in certification mode at least one time. Like I said, if you will pass it, it's a good checkpoint that I have done things right. I know a lot of things. And if you have to get the 80% correct. And if you get a bit more, it's even better. Then you know that I really know these things. And I have this feeling that this AZ 900 practice exam is full of more harder questions than in this official certification exam. In this certification exam, there is always those easy ones also. But it depends on your background and so on. But at least one time do the certification mode. If you don't succeed with the certification mode, you should practice more and use the practice mode. Like I showed to you, there is these references, really easy to access when you face some topics which are harder for you. You can do the recapping really fast there. Then you go and do the official exam. And I think at that moment you have really good knowledge, you have really good confidence, and you will succeed with this exam. And when you get the certification badge, it will come via email to you. You should definitely go and publish it, at least at LinkedIn. It's not just a certification badge that, hey, I know something about Azure, but it also means that, hey, I'm capable of developing myself and I want to learn new things. This way you will show to all your connections and network that, hey, I can really develop myself. That's really strong again. And you should definitely celebrate it because it's a certification. It's not, you don't get it by guessing. You have to know things. This means that you have to work for it. So it's definitely something that you can and you should celebrate. But hey, that was my solo part here. I think we have some questions in the chat. At least I see some notification from my mobile. So Anu, how are we doing there?
Yes, we are doing quite okay. Here has been some conversation about the practice exam and the vouchers, and I was answering. Maybe I can check that I answered correctly. So there were questions that does the voucher for MeasureUp have an expire date? And I answered that it's valid for 180 days from the activation. Is that correct?
Mostly.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. If the person who asked this question, I don't know if you were asking that how long the voucher for MeasureUp is valid, meaning that before activation.
Okay.
I don't know.
That one.
I don't know.
Well,
I think
that also.
I think it's at least half a year, but I think there's information in that email by until when you have to activate it. But after activation, it's correct that it's activated for 6 months. But during this COVID-19 time, they have given an extension to that also. So actually, after activation, the test is valid for 9 months at the moment.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, questions.
And then about the practice exam, how many times you can take the exam? And I answered that as many times you want after the activation.
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Anu.
Yes. Thank you, Petri. And there was also a couple of questions, people wondering that when do they have their actual exam vouchers, and I promised that we check what's the situation.
Because at least Martin is asking that question, and
yes,
you also. But there's question to Martin. Have you been participating in instructor-led training Azure Fundamentals Day? Because that's the official way to get name on the list, and that list will get the certification vouchers.
Yes, he did second.
Yeah.
June.
So 2nd of June. So let's see. It's already so far away that you should have got it. So please check. Maybe you have already checked your spam folder, but check it again. And remember that when you have been participating on those AZ 900 days, they will send the voucher to that same email that you were registered during or before or during the training. So if you have used some other email, please check that also. And any other questions?
Yes, there is one. I read it from here. I have a rather specific question. Do you know of which path or any path for experts focusing on automation solutions in Azure, or which path is closest? Can you answer this, Petri?
Automation things.
Yeah. Or do you know where to seek information?
This is something that I want to take care of by myself. I have a really good guess, but I'm not going to guess anything. So I will check this out and answer you directly. I will answer also in this meeting chat, so you will get the notification later on what will I be answering this. And I think this was from Kiarash was asking this question, so I will check this out and get back to you with the official answer. It was really good question. I can learn something also from this question myself.
Yes. Okay. And then another question, is it mandatory to register on MeasureUp using Tieto email ID only or personal email?
It depends. It depends on what email address you will get this MeasureUp activation key. You should use the same email. So if you have been registering this event, this webinar with Tieto account, you will get the MeasureUp key to Tieto account's email, and you have to register to MeasureUp with Tieto account. I hope I made it clear. It's so funny.
Do you have any further questions?
And remember, hey, you are seeing my contact information on the screen. Please free to connect via LinkedIn or send me email about any Azure issues or your training sessions or anything. We are doing with Tieto, we are doing a lot of cooperation with these. We are part of your training partners here, so feel free to contact me. I will help you as much as I can with Anu and with other members of our team. And if we There is there questions? About this? Yeah, you will get the one voucher for the exam, and if you fail, you do not have to buy a new one. You have to contact to your contact person in Tieto, and she will get you more. And your contact person, of course, is Noora Siikanen. I think you all know that. So you will get you will have a lot of vouchers there in your organizations. You can utilize them if you fail for the first time, but you have to ask them there. Any more questions? Yes, you can take unlimited times all these prep exams, including the certification mode.
Hey Petri, can we also get all the links you showed for self-preparation
Yeah.
in chat? Would be very handy.
Our marketing department will send you a thank you email. I don't know is it going to happen today or tomorrow, but you will get this thank you for participating email, and there will be a link to this presentation and link to recording of this session. So there are quite many links in my presentation, so I do not copy and paste them into chat. So
okay,
if you can wait for maybe one day, after that you will get it.
It's fine. Kiitos.
Thank you. We have still 8 minutes to go. So any more questions? Because if not, then we are done here and we can move forward enjoying this lovely summertime. But hey, thank you very much for giving me your time for this almost 1 hour and listening to this webinar, and I hope that you will get all the info needed to succeed with this one. And I hope good luck for your exam and hope you have a really nice summertime there wherever you are. Thank you very much for all of you participating.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.